Thank you for tuning in to MacroView Television, and welcome to a brand new edition of the Taiwan Outlook, the program that lets you hear the different voices of Taiwan. I'm your host and program moderator, Wu Ruiguo. As many people say, this year, the year 2010, is the year of the ECFA. That is the Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement signed between China and Taiwan on June 29th this year. But what will happen to cross-strait relations after the signing of ECFA? And how would the U.S., China, Taiwan trilateral relations be any different or stay the same after the signing of ECFA? On today's program, we're delighted to have a true specialist who will give us some of the answers to these very difficult but very important questions for all of us. And that is Dr.陈一新, who is the professor at the Graduate Institute of the Americas and淡江University. Dr. Chen, welcome to the program.
Dr. Wu, how are you? Yeah.
Yes.
And
it's
and
a delight to have you
to be here. Yeah.
Yes. As we said at the very beginning, Dr. Chen,
yeah.
Many people say that this is the year of ECFA, the Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement signed between China and Taiwan. What is your view of ECFA, and how will ECFA do to the cross-strait relations as we see it today?
Okay, different people may have a different opinion.
Of course.
As you just said in the beginning that I can only provide some of the answers,
okay,
not all.
But I know
so
you can.
I will try my best to offer my views.
Okay.
To share my opinion with our audience.
Yes.
First, I think, of course, ECFA will have some negative impact on Taiwan people.
Exactly.
And, but I think politician or national leader should make a decision whether the benefits of the ECFA are higher than the damages of the ECFA. This is what he has to decide.
Yes.
And I think President Ma Ying-jeou make a good decision so far, as we can see from the reports from the Western media or the reports news coverage in Taiwan. We can clearly see that ECFA seems to be in our national interest.
Yes.
First, I think Taiwan's economy will be further strengthened after the inkling of ECFA. And second, I think Taiwan people some Taiwan people may suffer, but the government has provided them with a compensation program.
Yes.
And help them to change their jobs or upgrade their technologies so that they can survive in the next decade or next 2 decades. And I think the inkling of ECFA will bring some even better impact to Taiwan. For example, Singapore has signed a letter of intention to start negotiations on the issue of FTA or the LAC. So I think this is a good signal to the rest of Asian countries, even including European or American countries.
Yes.
Okay, and here we can take a wait and see policy to see whether there will be more countries showing their interest to start negotiations on the FTA or the LAC.
Yes, with Taiwan. Yes, as we know that a lot of people now concerning over the fact that the signing of ECFA, of course, will integrate China and Taiwan economically. But what will happen next in the overall cross-strait relations? How would you think that the recent comments by Mr. Li Yafei, who is the Assistant Minister of China's Taiwan Affairs Office, that says, over the definition of the so-called 1992 consensus, why would you think that Mr. Li will make such a comment at this particular juncture? And also, what's the significance behind his comments?
Actually, I don't think that he has the capacity to say that.
Okay.
Because his level is not high enough. And I think he just tries to pass the word that China tries to bridge the gap between Taiwan and trade on the issue of one China and or one China principle or 1992 consensus. But actually, he caused more problems than solving problems. So I think because he put too much emphasis on one China principle, which is unacceptable to the most people in Taiwan. And what he said is that both sides of Taiwan trade agreed to use respective oral interpretations to explain the definition of one China principle. I think that this is something that cannot be accepted by the overwhelming majority of people. So, but of course, according to 1992 consensus, both sides of Taiwan trade can express their own opinion on the issue of one China, but not one China principle. This is different. We use one China issue or the issue of one China instead of one China principle because the one China principle contains specific different meaning. To us, one China principle means there is only one China, and both sides of Taiwan trade belong to this one China, and Taiwan is a province or part of the China. But this is something we cannot accept so far. So we insist that there is a one China. This suggests Republic of China, and which has been established since 1912. We claim the sovereignty over the whole China. But now we only have a jurisdiction over Taiwan, Penghu, Kinmen, and Mazu. So this is what we insist. But Mr. Li put too much emphasis on the one China principle. So I even wrote an article to criticize to criticize his mentality. He just tries to bridge the gap between the two sides of Taiwan trade in public, but actually is trying to impose one China principle on Taiwan. Thus tilting in favor of China in the long run.
And Dr. Chen, as you mentioned earlier, that countries like Singapore have already signed the letter of intent, will start preliminary negotiation of feasibility studies with Taiwan on possible FTAs with our country. And the fact of the matter remains is ECFA is a big deal for a lot of countries around the world, including the United States. How would you think, you are an American specialist, and certainly been studying American politics for many, many years. And Dr. Chen, how would you think the Washington reaction will be towards the signing of ECFA between Beijing and Taipei?
Early this month, I happened to pay a visit to Washington, D.C.
Terrific.
And went to the Carnegie Endowment for Peace to listen to the speech given by David Scheer, Deputy Assistant Secretary in charge of East Asian Affairs. He said the United States is more than willing to see the inkling of the ECFA, and hoping that the cross-trade relations can be further strengthened, stabilized. This is what the United States is hoping. And I even raised a question on his testimony before the Congress on March 18th. He said that the United States is more than willing to create an environment conducive to peaceful and non-coercive negotiations across the strait. I think I asked him whether his statement on creating constructive law between Taiwan and trade is still valid. He said yes, definitely yes.
That's terrific. So would you think that with the signing of ECFA with China, then would that help Taipei and Washington to resume the negotiation over TIFA, or maybe in the future possibly another FTA?
As you know, TIFA was a term created maybe 18 years ago. When U.S. Trade Representative Hughes paid a visit to Taiwan. He proposed an idea to negotiate on TIFA. And after 18 years, we still have not yet signed the TIFA. Not to say FTA. So I think before we sign TIFA, I think there are lots of questions to be resolved, such as U.S. beef issue, U.S. agricultural product import and medicine import, and also more important, the IPR, intellectual property rights, particularly the execution of IPR rights. So I think that after we solve these questions, I think the U.S. government will have to start negotiations on TIFA. But as I know, FTA there is still a long way to go. Because it refers to Taiwan's economic and trade structure. We have to improve them significantly before we start negotiations of TIFA. Of course, all this will happen after the inkling of TIFA.
Yes, of course. And for the remainder of this part, and Dr. Chen, we know that another very sensitive issue is U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. How would you think that with the signing of ECFA, would there be continued, selling of arms to Taiwan, given the fact that cross-strait relations are a lot more stable and peaceful today?
Actually, according to my own observation, U.S. arms sales on F-16CD may be postponed until next year. But it's not because Taiwan does not have the decision or does not have the determination to defend itself, but because China factor, as you know. China factor tries to stop over-sophisticated weapon sales to Taiwan, particularly F-16CD and submarines, of course. And what we worry about is that we don't know what kind of items is withdrawn by the United States in the process of U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. The United States will continue to sell weapon systems to Taiwan, but we don't know what the problem with us is that we never know what kind of item, specific item is a withdrawal, or for the time being, or for a long term. So this is our problem. So we have to continue to make our argument so that the United States will feel comfortable to sell our weapon system without much reservation.
Well, let's thank Professor Chen I-Hsin for giving us that very comprehensive overview of cross-strait relations and also U.S., China, Taiwan trilateral relations after the signing of ECFA. We're going to take a short break on our program, and when we come back, we will continue this very important conversation with Professor Chen I-Hsin from the Graduate Institute of the Americas at the淡江University. I'll see you in just a few minutes.